Hey, my name is Tim Sae Koo, a recovering Type A and aspiring Type B heart-led leader. After selling my first tech startup in Silicon Valley due to personal misalignment in 2018, I am now backpacking around the world for a year with the intentions of healing myself, recharging my battery, and seeking what problem pains my heart to see exist. I'm here to take you on my journey, to stay in touch with you all, and share my learnings to open up new gateways of inspiration and awareness. Hello, and welcome to week 10 of my world backpacking travels around the world this year. And greetings again from the beautiful, beautiful place of Cusco in the country of Peru. So for week 10, I spent a little bit of time in Cusco and majority of the time in the beautiful place called Sacred Valley. And for week 10, I really wanted to share two stories that happened this week that will be quite exciting, as well as photos and videos and a montage of the beautiful places of Cusco and Sacred Valley. So, story number one is that this week I got two new toys. And these toys are really centered around musical instruments and music for me. So the two new toys I got was first a new DJ controller and secondly a shamanic drum. So first, why a DJ controller? Well, firstly, curating and sharing really good music with friends and people I love has been such a great activity that I find a lot of joy in. Secondly, I came up with a goal to DJ at Burning Man 2020. Third reason is that I've been finding a lot of flow and joy when I listen to a certain type of music genre, specifically about Latin American rhythms, nature fusion, funk, medicine music, just good deep house, and finding ways to collaborate all of them together and share them with people. The fourth reason is that I've really wanted to provide great dancing experiences in such a safe environment that allows for full body and dancing expressions. And whether that's in future friend weddings or in friend gatherings or just times when I really want to share good times with good music with good people, I want to have that opportunity available for me to do so. I did get accepted to a DJ training in Portugal in late April, and I'm just so excited. And stay tuned for my new DJ name that I'll come up with and great dancing experiences for all my friends and loved ones and you. And the second toy I got was a shamanic drum. Now, you might ask, what is a shamanic drum or why a shamanic drum? Well, I was first exposed to shamanic drumming in my plant medicine ceremonies about a year and a half ago. And what I've learned is that there's two main reasons why you play a shamanic drum. The first one is to call in spirits, source, or some other higher power to support and assist you in whatever you're looking for or whatever your intention is in seeking. And the second reason is to alter your state of consciousness to dive deeper into whatever your intention is again. Another reason is that when I've always heard of shamanic drumming played in front of me, I've always felt this newfound type of strength of almost like going into battle in a warrior sense. And as I've picked mine up and started playing it, I felt this newfound connection to my inner masculinity. Now it might sound weird, but it's just this newfound strength and confidence and connection to masculinity when you can play these drums in a beautiful setting for yourself or for others. So lastly, my intention with the shamanic drum is to practice enough to the point where I feel comfortable and confident and skilled enough to perform and gift that beats and vibrations and drumming in plant medicine ceremonies or ceremonies in general in the future for my friends, for my loved ones, and for people that I newly meet, to also be able to maybe create a circle around a fire and provide this type of drumming and beat and background music for singing as well. Just so excited to have these two new toys being carried around and really setting myself to practice. I've noticed really a central theme around music and providing that for others, especially in safe settings, in intentional settings, and maybe in just in playful, fun settings as well. Second and final story of this week was that I got a new tattoo. What? As you can see here, it is an owl, and it is filled with nature in its body parts and has a Sanskrit word in the middle of its body called seva. And seva means selfless service. And if you know me, I get tattoos that are really core principles and values that I'm committing to for the rest of my life. So the theme of this tattoo was really centered around practicing seva. It's actually one of the most comprehensive and complex and fascinating stories that has unraveled itself throughout the years to finally make me confident in getting this tattoo. It all really started in Burning Man 2016. Long story short, I had a challenging time with my camp, decided to move out and ready to go back home. As I was walking to the bus stop to get dropped off back in San Francisco, someone stopped me and really just asked me what was going on. I shared over the challenges, and he just opened up his home and accepted me to stay with him for the rest of the time at Burning Man. And as I got to know him, it was just so amazing for a stranger that I barely knew in such a vulnerable setting like the desert, in a time when I was not as comfortable as a first-timer, to be accepted like that. And as our time wrapped up, he gave me an owl necklace that I wore for however many months afterwards. And I told him that I would really see and remember that owl as a representation of gifting without expectations. Now, I never really identified with an owl before, but as I wore that owl, many people started to recognize maybe an owl spirit inside of me. At dance events, I would usually hang out in the back corner, just observing and watching and having space to dance. I usually like to listen and observe more than I like to talk. I usually like wearing ponchos and I like flapping with it. So just little attributes that really got me wondering if there's a strong connection with the owl. And call it funny story, but I found a DJ that's one of my favorite DJs named El Brujo, which means owl in Spanish, and fell in love with his music and just started accepting the owl as part of my life that I felt connected with. As I kept wearing it over and over, I really started to practice a life of gifting without expectations. Then one day my friend told me about what seva was, essentially selfless service in Sanskrit. And as I started to research more into it, I felt really connected into wanting to commit a life that is all around seva. So it essentially evolved from gifting without expectations to selfless service. And so as I thought about this, I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo around this because I want to commit the rest of my life to this. So I knew I wanted a special person to design it, and I wanted to do it in a special place. Luckily, I had my partner who is a designer and designed the last few weeks and months with me on the actual owl. And I knew I would be heading to Peru in the near future. So as I was looking, I found a beautiful artist that specializes in dot work and geometry and decided to book it. Then I got it in a beautiful sacred place called Sacred Valley in Peru. So what does seva mean for me? I wrote down a few things that I'll share with you by reading it, and you'll get a sense of what I'm committing to as a practice of seva for the rest of my life. So seva is giving to those who have nothing to give to you. Seva and servicing to others is one of the essential keys to a happy life. Seva is lighting a lamp for someone else. One of the best ways to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others without any expectations. Seva is quiet acts of selfless service. Seva is not needing to take credit or distress you if someone else takes the credit. Seva is done with honesty and integrity. Seva is not a stepping stone to bigger and better things. Seva is not needing to tell others now or later that you did it. Seva is not being fazed by others' criticism or lack of appreciation. So I wrote a poem called Practicing Seva, which goes, I won't be perfect, but I will practice and cultivate this sacred valley because I believe it is the right thing to do. Balance will be key with self-love and boundaries, but here I commit to a life of practicing seva. So a few things that come to mind on the general level of how I can start to practice seva is really emitting peace and harmony for others, building community and belonging with others, delighting others in joy, leaving this earth with as least trace as possible, and spreading kindness and compassion with all those around me. And the key thing here is that there is absolutely no expectations, not even before or after the deed is done. And that's what's tricky, because a lot of times in the Western world we're taught that there's a give and take. Once you give, you expect something in return. But for me, I'm really believing in this beautiful value of servicing and gifting and doing for others without ever, even the slightest, having the expectation of something coming back. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect right now, and sometimes I do catch myself in wanting and expecting some sort of praise or some sort of monetary return or gift. But this is what I'm committing to practicing Seva over and over as I continually get better at that. Question of the week for you is, what do you think about Seva? Would you practice Seva? Is there flaws in Seva? What are things to watch out for to care for yourself while practicing Seva? I'd love to hear your thoughts, answers, and comments in the comment section below. So that's it. Week 10 was filled with so much joy, feeling a kid again, getting new toys and committing to practicing them, as well as committing to a life of practicing Seva. So what I wanted to do was end this week's video with some beautiful montage of what Cusco and Sacred Valley looks like. So you can feel and see and even hear what it's like to be in these beautiful sacred places. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for next week's video, as week 11 is a lot of self-healing and learning. Thank you again so much for sharing time, watching my videos, and just traveling with me all around this beautiful world. And I'll see you next week.